Hello AmericansChannel. This video is made by free videos from Storyblocks, and these images and video we use just for explanation, and it's free use also.
Woman walks away right before flight, then her husband sees the camera footage. It was supposed to be a fresh start. After years of working late nights, missed dinners, and tired promises, Rachel and Marc had finally booked a vacation. 2 weeks in Lisbon. Just the two of them. No laptops, no conference calls, just warm sun, slow mornings, and reconnecting. They arrived at the airport early. Rachel was quieter than usual, sipping her coffee with one hand while the other nervously rolled her blue suitcase back and forth. Marc assumed it was travel jitters. She never liked airports. He tried to lighten the mood with small jokes, and she smiled politely, but her laugh didn't quite reach her eyes. At the gate, boarding had just begun. Marc stood and gestured toward the line. "You ready?" he asked. Rachel hesitated, then nodded. She looked at her phone once more, sighed softly, and stood. They moved forward slowly with the others' passports in hand. Then, just before the attendant scanned their tickets, Rachel touched Marc's arm gently. "I need to use the restroom," she said. "Go ahead, I'll meet you on the plane." It seemed normal enough. He nodded and kissed her cheek. "I'll save us a window seat." Marc boarded, stowed his carry-on, and sat down by the window like they always did. As passengers trickled in, he kept glancing down the aisle, expecting her to appear any second. But time passed, the plane filled. The flight attendants began securing the cabin. He pressed the call button. "My wife isn't on board yet," he told the flight attendant. "She just went to the restroom." The attendant checked the manifest. Rachel had never scanned her boarding pass. They paged her name once, twice. Marc's stomach began to turn. After a final call over the intercom, the gate was closed. The plane taxied. Marc sat there, heart pounding. Something was wrong. When they landed in Lisbon, Rachel's phone went straight to voicemail. No messages. No updates. He stood near baggage claim for a while, then wandered aimlessly outside the terminal before checking into their hotel alone. He barely slept. The next morning, he called the airline. They confirmed she never boarded. He called the airport, and after explaining the situation, was directed to airport security. An officer named Decker met him in a small office and asked a few routine questions. Then, without much ceremony, they pulled up the footage. Marc leaned forward, eyes fixed on the screen. There she was, Rachel, in her navy blouse and flats, walking calmly through the terminal. The timestamp matched the boarding time. He watched her approach the gate with him, then stop, touch his arm, and step away. Then, the unexpected happened. She didn't go to the restroom. Instead, she turned around and walked out of frame. Marc's chest tightened. "Can you show me where she went?" They switched to the next camera. Rachel continued walking, not hurried, but with purpose. She exited the terminal through the arrivals area, crossed the taxi lane, and disappeared into the parking structure. She never looked back. Marc felt cold. She just left. Decker nodded slowly. "Looks that way." He left the office in a daze. Back at the hotel, he sat by the window for hours. Had they argued? No. Had she seemed distant? Maybe, but this? No explanation, no goodbye, just gone? A part of him wondered if she was in danger. Another part, the quieter one, knew better. She had made a choice. A deliberate one. The evidence was right there on the screen. Days passed. Marc stayed in Lisbon, wandering the old neighborhoods they had once dreamed about exploring together. He ate alone at sidewalk cafes, stared at empty seats, and checked his phone every hour. On the 5th day, he got a message. It was an email, simple, short. "Marc, I'm okay. I just couldn't get on that plane. I'll explain everything soon." He read it again and again, not sure if it gave relief or made things worse. There were no answers. His confirmation that she had walked away on purpose. Back home a week later, Marc returned to their apartment. It felt untouched, like she might walk through the door at any moment. He left her favorite mug on the table. Her scarf still hung by the door, but she didn't come home. It wasn't until 2 weeks later that he finally saw her again. She called him, asked to meet in the park where they used to go on Sunday mornings. Marc arrived early, sitting on their usual bench beneath the birch trees. When Rachel finally appeared, she looked tired, older somehow, but calm. "I'm sorry," she said, sitting beside him. Marc didn't speak right away. He just looked at her. "Why?" She exhaled steady. "I panicked. I thought I was ready for that trip for us. But standing there, I realized I was lying to both of us. I couldn't go and pretend everything was fine." He stared ahead, so he walked away instead of telling me. Rachel nodded. "It wasn't fair. I know. But something in me just snapped. I needed to figure out who I was without you for a minute. I'd lost myself in our life and being okay, and I wasn't." Silence sat between them like a third presence. Finally, Marc asked, "Do you want to come home?" She shook her head gently. "Not yet. Maybe not at all. I need time. I still care about you, but I had to leave, to be honest. I never wanted to hurt you. I just couldn't lie anymore." Marc nodded slowly, a lump rising in his throat. It wasn't anger he felt. It was grief. quiet, slow, and real. But underneath it all, there was understanding, too. They sat a while longer, not holding hands, not touching, just two people beginning to let go.